Hi, everybody. This is so weird because how many months has been? It's been like 6 months since we've done this,
We're
right?
back.
And it's like, by the way, I forgot how any of this works, and I started pressing some buttons, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I can do that. And didn't we used to have a video? So, welcome. Thanks for joining us. There are 30 people watching right now, and I'm hoping we get some more. I'm Yvette.
I'm Andrea.
You might still remember us, hopefully. Um, Thank you for supporting us while we were clearancing out all the stuff and, always sending nice messages and everything. We miss you guys a lot. And we have something to tell you.
I had teased that there would be an announcement to some of my color for quilters classes. So you guys,
And if you're in
my last
Stitch
class was like,
Lab,
can you tell us yet? Can you tell us? And I was like, no, not yet.
if you're in Stitch Lab, you know what's happening.
Okay.
But I think that's the only group
I didn't say.
Okay, so
we didn't plan to both wear magenta
tank
tops,
matching,
by the way.
It's just hot as hell.
Exactly.
So,
it's just too hot.
Wearing as little as possible, basically. So Raquel in the comments, like, did you dress the same on purpose? Right? Okay, so drum roll. I have no idea whether you can actually hear that in the microphone or not.
I can hear it.
You can hear it? Okay. Here's the big announcement. You ready? We found a buyer for Gotham Quilts.
Gotham Quilts will continue.
Yay! And let us introduce you to the new owner. She's going to come on the video in 1 second once I press the right button.
Hello!
This is Allison. Yay! Everybody clap.
Thank you.
So basically, when we were starting to shut down and figuring out what to do with all the different parts of the business, right? Because we did machines, we did fabric, we did classes, we did retreats, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I reached out to a group of quilt shop owners. You guys might be aware that there's this sort of like networking group called Fab Shop Network. Fab Shop
Forum.
Whatever. It's called Fab Shop something.
Fab Shop owners.
And I had posted in Fab Shop that we were in the process of shutting down and we were going to start selling off, equipment and blah, 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 blah. And lovely Allison emailed me and was like, let's talk. And we've been talking for a couple months and we just signed the paperwork.
Yay!
And it's official. Allison is the new owner of Gotham Quilts. Technically, Allison and her husband, Ken, who is not on camera, but he's behind the scenes.
Say hello, Ken.
Hello, Ken.
I'm so excited. Allison is, if you were in New York, you would have fit right in with us. And like, we have the same kind of energy, the same kind of like a little bit dry, a little bit sarcastic, really smart, really fun.
Thank you.
Do you curse a lot, Allison?
Not
yes,
as much
as
off
camera.
Okay.
Not as much.
We certainly did.
Yeah, not as much as Yvette, I can tell you that.
Definitely not. Yeah. So like when we used to go on lives like this, we were always saying don't curse, right?
Right. Because we generally did pretty good on camera.
Like
but
when
off
I'm
camera,
I think I almost said the F word at the beginning of this call. But yeah, so probably she curses less than us, but that's because she doesn't live in New York City where everyone's favorite word is the F word.
Yeah, who knows if I were in New York, what it would sound like. But should I introduce myself?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? I'm going to make you bigger if I remember how to do that.
Well, I don't really need any help with that, making bigger, but thank you anyway. And thank you for all the lovely comments here. As Yvette said, when we started talking, it was really clear that we were just kind of on the same wavelength. I lived in New York. I would like to think that we would all be friends. And forgive the pausing for a little bit. Sometimes I will freeze up In any event, my name is Allison. I live in Minnesota with my husband. We currently own a shop in the Twin Cities metro area called Minneapolis. And one of the things that I thought was kind of cute about this is Tiny Apple is a play on Minneapolis. Mini Apple, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Big Apple. Well, Minneapolis we consider the Little Apple, the Tiny Apple. So that is where our shop name comes from. We actually have about 5,500 square feet of in-person shopping. So if any of you make it to Minnesota, be sure to stop on in and say hello. We also have certainly not as big as Gotham, but we've got an online presence. We do live shows twice a week. So even though I'm a little nervous now, I'm no stranger to being on camera. So when Yvette reached out and said that Gotham was closing its doors, it just felt like a really nice fit to bring, to kind of join forces, the Tiny Apple and the Big Apple with Gotham Quilts. So here in Minnesota, I own the shop with my husband, Ken, who you met earlier, met. We also have a really fabulous team. We've got a store manager here, an operations manager, and a handful of amazing customer service representatives. So you'll have a lot of support in this transition with Gotham. And speaking of support, both Yvette and Andrea have been absolutely lovely. Really, the plan is to keep all of the things that Gotham is doing really well. So we're talking about the classes, the color theory classes, the thread talks. I'm so excited about the thread talks and some of those fabulous virtual retreats to keep that excitement and creativity going. So we could not be more pleased that both Yvette and Andrea have agreed to help with this transition, including calls and introductions like this.
Yeah. I'm going to make us more even again.
Yes, please do.
Should we talk about some of the stuff we already have started working on? Because as everyone who's watching probably expects, there's going to be some transition period because we have to turn on a bunch of stuff we turned off. And also, Ken and I are doing a bunch of tech work in the background to get all the products and all that kind of stuff going. But Allison and I have been working on getting some stuff up so that when we did this announcement, we'd have some stuff to tell you about. Which one do you want to talk about first? Thread Talks?
I am so excited. Let's talk about Thread Talks.
Okay, cool. So you are continuing with Thread Talks. We are skipping July. It was too difficult to get a speaker for July, so it restarts in August with the same schedule, first Wednesday of the month, except for in October, the first Wednesday of the month is Yom Kippur, so we moved it back a week. And the what month did I just say? August. I almost said October again. I was like, no, that's not right. The August speaker is actually going to be Jen Strouser, who you all know very well. She's going to be speaking about Kawandi. And I already put it up on the website, so you can register for that talk. In September, I put up a TBD. We don't know who the speaker is going to be in September yet, but we're working on it. We've got a long list of people that we're reaching out to. And then for October, we've booked Meg Cox. If you don't know Meg Cox, she's been in the industry for 30, 40 years.
Very long time. Yeah.
She works regularly with a bunch of magazines and quilt shows and stuff like that. And she's going to be giving a talk about technical places to go look at quilts. So there's places you can go online and look at 400 different quilts that are in a museum. And so she has this talk about the intersection between looking at quilts and technology, which I think is going to be a pretty useful talk.
Yeah.
So yay. And nothing's changing. It'll still be virtual. It'll still be at 8:00 Eastern time, even though Allison is not Eastern time. Is it Central where you are?
It is Central, so only an hour different.
Yeah, so we're still listing stuff in Eastern time currently. You might change that in the future if it causes less confusion for people. But for now, everything's still listed Eastern time, and we're writing Eastern to make it clear exactly when we're talking about the thing.
I did see a comment. How about the virtual retreats? Should we move on to that next?
Yeah, so we have scheduled one for September, and we're going to host it together. All three of us are going to be on. So this is going to be the perfect time to get to know Allison. Because as you know, when we're in the retreats, we do tend to just like bullshit a lot and just hang out and talk about whatever, right? So I'm going to share my screen once I remember how to do that again.
And I never knew, so I can't help.
So we're safe, Andrea. We're good.
Yeah, that was her job.
Yeah, and like if you take a 6-month break from doing something, you kind of forget things.
Yeah, sure, of course.
So it's up on the website now. It is the weekend of September 20th. So that's 2 weeks after Labor Day. So hopefully it'll be enough time between like all the craziness of Labor Day and this weekend of fun. And we're focused on English paper piecing, which is a theme we've never done before for a retreat. We've done a lot of English paper piecing projects like Block of the Month and that kind of thing in the past, but we never did a retreat around it. So Allison and I went and looked at a bunch of books that are current books on EPP, and we settled on this. Flossie Tea Cakes is her old handle. She now actually uses her real name, which is Florence something. It went right out of my head when I said the beginning of it.
Does it say?
I think it's really small on the screen. I'm not sure that I could read it.
Yeah,
But
it just says Flossie.
Knapp.
I can't read it.
Knapp. So yeah, Flossie Tea Cakes used to be her Instagram handle, and her book, which is from a couple years ago, uses that name. So Flossie Tea Cakes Guide to English Paper Piecing. She now is actually an author of like a normal book that isn't a quilting book. So she's using her real name now. If you're on her Instagram, her handle changed from Flossie Tea Cakes to Florence Knapp. So sometimes you see Florence Knapp on things, and sometimes you see Flossie Tea Cakes. But this book is really cool. It has a lot of introduction and history of English paper piecing in it, which is a very unique thing that most books, most quilting books are like technique books or how-to books or pattern books, and not necessarily history. And she actually has profiles of some current English paper piecing people. She talks about like famous EPP, like the Lucy Boston quilt. And then the how-to section is one of the best I've ever seen on teaching you how to do English paper piecing. So that's how we ended up picking this book. Is the how-to part is excellent, and also it has really interesting historical and resource type stuff at the beginning.
And just the photos that you put up, the cover and those 2 blocks are so pretty.
Yeah, I was like, this cover is such a pretty,
gorgeous
cover, right? So she likes to do a lot of fussy cutting, which you can see on this cover. We will cover fussy cutting in the retreat as well. So that's a more advanced technique, but we're going to start from the way beginning. So if you've never done EPP before, if you're the kind of person who says, I don't really do handwork, this even would be for you potentially. You might try it and not like it. I'm not saying you're going to fall in love with it, but I used to say I didn't like handwork until English paper piecing. English paper piecing was like the gateway into liking handwork. And I know Andrea still doesn't really like handwork, but you do have a hexagon project somewhere, don't you? Oh, I think she froze now.
Oh, it must be catching.
Everybody's internet is having I don't know what, freak out.
Maybe it's the heat, who knows? But yeah. I 100% agree that EPP is a little bit of a gateway. I never fancied myself a handwork person either until I found just the perfect project. So sometimes it's not even just the method, but it's the project that gets you involved in the method too. But This book is gorgeous. And like Yvette said, we went through a number one of them, and this was the best from a number of different fronts. So I'm really excited about the comments that we're seeing about how this is a worthwhile retreat. We really hope to see you there. And I can't think of a better project to get started right in time for the school year when you're waiting at the doctor's office or at soccer practice or any of those things, to have something that you can bring with you and do and stay close to sewing.
That's totally the thing about handwork, right? Like all of us are so used to being on our machines and like segregated from everybody else in the household while you're sewing. But for handwork, you could actually sit on the couch and, watch a TV show and have a conversation with other people while you're doing your little project, right? And it's really portable, so you can take it with you, like to a doctor's appointment, like Allison said, or if you're sitting outside, because it'll be mid-September. It's still going to be hot, right? So you might be sitting outside having some lemonade and doing a little handwork at the same time. So we're going to start at the way beginning with the technique videos. If you've attended a previous virtual retreat of ours, you might know the format. We start on a Friday afternoon. We start at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we go through to Sunday around 3 p.m. is when we finish. But no, you are not expected to be online the entire time. We will be, us as hosts, we will be there the whole time. On Friday, it's 4 to 10. Saturday, it's 10 to 10. Sunday, it's 10 to 3. And before the retreat starts, we will have a space that you can log into to watch the tutorial videos that we will have done that go with the book. So some people will want to do a lot of prep work and like maybe do some cutting, find fabric, watch the videos ahead of time. Some people will show up at 4 o'clock and be like, I haven't even opened the book. Totally fine. However you want to do it, it's up to you. Kind of choose your own adventure kind of thing. It's very low key and mostly about having fun and hanging out with other quilters.
You also don't have to do the project in the book.
Yeah.
If you are not a hand person like me, sorry, my internet cut out right as Yvette was
right when I asked you a question. Yeah.
Yeah. I started to answer and then I realized nobody could hear me.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not a hand work person, but that's okay. You can still come and hang out. You can work on anything you want. It does not have to be this. If you want to just come and hang out and sit at your sewing machine and just socialize with everybody, that's totally fine. If you want to try it and, do a little dabbling, see if you like it, that's cool. And if you decide you don't, that's totally fine. You can it's a very low key, casual environment. So,
so
everyone
do you
is welcome.
Have that hexagon project?
Yes, I tried to give it away and it ended up coming back to me.
Did you try to give it to Raina?
I do still have it. Yes, there's like 2 hex flowers or something. That's all I got done.
I have a vague recollection. I mean, that was like 15 years ago, wasn't it? Like
it was quite a while ago. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I have like, I don't know, 6 different EPP projects started because as everyone knows, I don't like to finish anything. I only like to start things, right? So my plan is I'm going to pull out some of that stuff and use it when I'm recording the tutorial videos so that I'm getting a little bit done on all these projects that have just been sitting there.
What a great way to get them finished. Make a video.
I love fussy cutting though. I love these projects that have all these fussy cut that all work together and create these other patterns. I love it. If all I had to do was just do the cutting, I would do it. But the sewing together, that's too much.
Yeah. So let's talk about fussy cutting is more, if you don't know what fussy cutting is, we're referring to like in this picture. And if I hold this up, you can see that like this piece of fabric and this piece of fabric and this piece of fabric, they're all exactly cut in the same way in each piece. So, and fussy cutting doesn't necessarily only apply to English paper piecing. You can fussy cut when you're doing machine piecing, hand piecing, whatever. It just means instead of taking a ruler and just slicing the fabric and wherever that pattern lands is how you cut it, you are being fussy in how you cut it, and you pick a specific part of the fabric to cut and like feature that little piece, right? So maybe you have a fabric with bunnies on it and you want to cut that square so the bunny is right in the middle. That's what fussy cutting is talking about. In English paper piecing, you don't always have to fussy cut, but you will find many people do tend to do more fussy cutting in English paper piecing because you're making all these funny shapes. And when you're looking at a piece of fabric that has whatever design on it, sometimes if you're cutting like a very specific shape, you might have a way to feature part of that print in a way that you normally wouldn't when you're just working with like triangles or squares or whatever. So that's what makes people end up fussy cutting even more when they're doing UPP. So we definitely are going to cover fussy cutting in the course, in the videos rather. So what you get if you register for the retreat, you're going to get a copy of the book, which is the book that we're going to be basing all the videos off of. If you already own this book, because this isn't a brand new book, I think this has been out since 2018. So it's a non-zero chance some of the people who want to come to the retreat will already have the book. So if you have the book, when you register, I'm going to scroll down on the page so you can see. When you register, there's 2 options. One option is the book, and the other option is mystery bundle. Mystery bundle means you're going to get a fat quarter bundle of colors of fabric, some solid, some prints that look like this picture in the front of the cover. So if you already own the book, you can get the bundle instead. If you want both, you can get the bundle and the book by just clicking the add-on item right there and get both things. So in the package, you get the book. You're also going to get a pack of paper pieces, which I just realized I didn't actually bring down. So paper pieces, if you've never done English paper piecing before.
Yvette, could you make yourself bigger while you're showing?
Yeah, that's a good idea. So when we say paper pieces, we mean pre-cut templates like this. There's a company called Paper Pieces, very original name for a company, that produces almost all, like they're the big guys in this world. You can see this package is made by them. We're going to make a custom pack of papers with all the common shapes that you use when you're starting to APP. So we're going to do hexagons. This is an elongated hexagon is the name for this shape. It's the one that's used on Lucy Boston blocks. We'll have some of those. We'll have some clam shells. And then I'm going to go back to showing you the book. So this is one of the designs that is in the book. She calls them rosettes. So the papers needed to make one of these rosettes is going to be in your pack. And the same for this rosette. All the papers needed to make one of this rosette will be in your package. We're also throwing in a 1-inch hexagon template, which this is not exactly it, but this is almost the same one. So this one is an elongated hexagon. We're going to send you a regular hexagon because that's the shape that's in the package. But you use this to fussy cut to cut a perfect piece of fabric out. So you'll get one of these, and we're going to throw in some goodies. We always do that for all the retreats. We just add a couple extra goodies to make the package a little bit more fun and a little bit more of a surprise. Alice is asking if the website's up again. Technically, the website was never down, but there's new stuff coming. So, Alice, what you missed is that Gotham Quilts has been acquired, and Allison, who's on this call, is the new owner. Hooray! And we've been talking about the retreat that we're going to do in September, which will have all three of us on. So you can get to know Allison and kind of say goodbye to me and Andrea, I guess. Did I forget anything about the retreat?
There was a question earlier from Claire, I believe, who asked, does this mean that all of the materials from previous retreats or classes, are they still available?
Oh,
will
right.
they be available?
Yeah, so you're keeping pretty much the whole setup the same, right, Allison?
Yep. Yeah. The whole setup is going to be the same. We're just going to plug and play here. Yeah. So yes, to the extent that you had access to anything from a previous retreat or a class, that will all still be available for you. We're keeping the same infrastructure. To just kind of reiterate for people who might be joining a little bit later, our goal is really just to take all the fabulous things that Gotham Quilts was doing before shutting their doors and just make it so again.
Yeah. And I'm going to clarify just a little point of what we just said, which is that Jen, some of the content in the classes belongs to Jen and didn't belong to me and Andrea. And Jen is in the process of moving all that stuff into her own platform. So that some of that stuff will move, but you'll still have access to it. It just will be in a slightly different place. Okay, so Thread Talks are coming back starting in August, and we're doing a retreat in September. The other thing we've turned back on is Club Gotham. So some of you watching are probably Club Gotham members if you've been, super fans for any amount of time. For those of you who don't know what Club Gotham is, it's sort of like an Amazon Prime style membership program that we always had for, well, I don't know about always, but we had for many years for Gotham Quilts. You pay up front, you get a year's worth of benefits. The benefits include things like free registration to Thread Talks, 10% discount on fabric, blah, 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 blah. It used to be $125 a year, and Allison is doing a special. Now it's only $75 a year for a limited time during this transition period. We've just turned that back on the website, so you can sign up now if you want.
Get a deal, right?
Get a
that's
deal.
A great deal.
And, if you sign up in the sale price, when it renews, if you choose to renew, it'll be the same sale price next year, however many years. You just have to be a member.
And Club Gotham will get you free thread talks. So that covers it right there. You get all the thread talks for the year included in that membership price. You get discounts on fabric, early signups for classes and retreats. What else am I missing?
Shipping, free shipping.
Oh yeah, free shipping at $35. Yep.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And that actually might be a really nice segue to you might wonder, well, what kinds of things will we carry at Gotham Quilts? And I will say that as a quilt shop, we can't carry everything. So some of the benefits of probably the best part of the job is picking and choosing. And that's what I love about local quilt shops is which one feels like home based on who the buyers are at that particular shop. And so what we've curated at Tiny Apple, I would say is probably very similar to what you've seen at Gotham. The plan is one of the things that Yvette and Ken, our IT guy and producer and etc., are working on is making that connection between the items that Tiny Apple carries and how they will show or when they will show on the Gotham website. So we hope to have that up and running, I would say within the next 30 days, give or take, to have the Gotham website fully populated with fabulous projects and fabrics and notions so that you can get all of those benefits of the Club Gotham membership.
So we will send emails, so you don't have to worry about checking all the time. We send emails when stuff happens and new things are coming up.
Exactly. So we'll be sure to keep you in the know.
Yeah, on the website right now, there's thread talks you can register for. There's the retreat you can register for. There are some patterns you can still buy, free patterns you can still download, and Club Gotham that you can sign up for.
And there are a couple of bonus things that are related to the retreat as well, if you wanted to.
Oh, right. I forgot. Yeah. So we usually offer add-on items for every retreat, like the pack that you get when you sign up. Everybody gets the same pack so that everyone has that basic reference point that is being used in the videos to work off of. But we don't want that pack to be gigantic because not everyone's going to want to make the same projects, right? So we include what we will be featuring in the videos, and then we have optional add-on items that you can add onto depending on what you already have, what you might need, or what you might want to make. So we've added like a glue pen and glue refills as possible add-on items. If you don't already own those supplies, you can add them on. I also added more of that rosette that I showed in a minute ago. So if you wanted to make, say, a whole quilt with that rosette, you can get 6 of that rosette instead of just the one that comes in your pack. We have some templates, and Allison's she really likes this Big Blooms quilt, which is an EPP quilt. So we added that as a pattern, and those acrylic templates for that is also available. So actually, this is a good segue. The other thing that's coming back is Live with Gotham Quilts. So we used to do Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern. We would go live on Facebook and YouTube, and that ended in like January when we announced that we were closing. But as of today, it's back, and we're coming back next week. I think it'll be me and Allison next week. And what we're going to talk about next week is the retreat, with showing you more of the pieces and more of an official launch of the retreat. And
you guys all get the sneak peek at it.
Yes, exactly. So, we didn't want to just say, we've been acquired, go buy, right? So we've been acquired. Here's all the cool stuff that's going to happen.
Yes. And I will say we certainly plan on keeping Gotham Quilts and all the things that you love about it intact and going on. We also plan to bring some of the things that we really love from Tiny Apple, bring that to the Big Apple, bring that to Gotham. And some of the things that we do here are we've got a mystery sew-along that's starting in August is when those clues release. So we want to introduce all of the Gotham fam to that. In addition, we have our live shows twice weekly on Wednesday and Saturday. So if you are just itching for a sneak peek of what kinds of things Tiny Apple carries, that would be a great way to figure out just the style, just the feel, the vibe of what we're doing here. I will fully point out that we are here for you. So if there is anything that you want to see, let us know, because if you want to see it, chances are good that other people want to see it too. And so we're very open to what you're asking for, what you're needing and wanting, and maybe not seeing other places. So yeah, that is kind of my pitch for if you want a sneak peek at what you're going to see on the Gotham website. It will be very much in line with Tiny Apple. I would say probably a little bit more modern than what we're currently doing. So Andrea was kind enough to sit with me and go through her process of what she would buy for Gotham, and so we get to bring a little bit of that to Minnesota.
Yeah. But you already had Tula and Cafe and like plenty of stuff that we were already doing. So it's not like you were like a Civil War reproduction store, and now all of a sudden you're
decidedly not. If you are a Civil War reproduction fan, you probably have never found Tiny Apple, and you probably never
found Gotham Quilts either. So
exactly.
you just happened on this live.
Not wildly out of the scope. I was going to ask you, what's the name of that mystery thing that you're launching?
It is put on by Mystery 5-0 is what
Mystery
it is.
5-0.
Mystery 5-0. And it's fabulous because it's Hawaiian paradise themed quilts all year round. The first one is called Aloha, and that starts in August. Right now, we're getting excited about making kits and talking through fabric decisions. So our social media for Tiny Apple is a great place to check that out. You can kind of see what goes into it. But yeah.
I should follow on from the Gotham site. I should follow Tiny Apple. I'll go do that when I get off the call.
Yes, indeed. So we're happy to bring these two quilt shops together.
Sherry's asking if we're going to send an email out with all this information. Yes, as soon as this video's over, I'm going to send an email. We already have a blog post drafted. It'll go up on the website, and you can ask us any questions, anything we forgot. Send, hit reply and email us and ask us.
Nice. And it seems like some people are already familiar with the Mystery 5-0.
Raquel said she did Mystery 5-0 before. It was funny because you had told me about it, and I was like, I've never heard of this thing before. It was like, yeah.
We love it. I will give you a little sneak peek into, this might be a little too personal, but along with the mystery so along, there's a story. You're following this person, Laura Langston, totally fictional person, although sometimes it doesn't feel that way. You're following her throughout this journey and a career change and solving mysteries. With the last one, I got maybe a little bit too involved because they did end the quilt mystery on a cliffhanger, and I was quite frustrated that I had to wait a full week to figure out what's going to happen to Laura. So if you like mysteries, if you like fun stories, if you like combining just that kind of fun entertainment, that carefree, like take your mind off things entertainment with sewing, this is a fabulous project to get in.
And does the story continue the next year?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Continues. Yep.
That sounds really interesting.
Like
yes,
the whole concept sounds so unusual and so creative, and I'm like, how did someone even come up with this thing, right? Like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, there are other shops participating across the country, but I'm a little bit partial to ours, of course.
I mean, I'm sure yours is the best. Yes.
Thank you.
Is there anything we forgot to say that we were planning to say in this call?
I'm going to I don't have my reading glasses on, so I'm going to get a little bit closer just so I can see this. But Eileen says that she's joining Club Gotham tonight, and that warms my heart. That it really does. That you all are as happy as I am that Club Gotham will continue, that Gotham Quilts will continue.
I think everyone's going to they're going to love you just as much as they loved us. Like you would have been one of us if you had been here for sure.
I just had to be born in the Tiny Apple, I guess.
Yeah, and like New York is such a crazy place. Like it's fine that you don't live in New York, but it's like maybe
I'd probably swear a lot more. I think
you might catch it from me because we're doing weekly calls as we transfer stuff, right? So like, yeah, I don't think I've told Allison this story. I've definitely told this story on video before that. Like, my parents never used to curse at all. And like slowly, like, okay, not true. If they like stubbed their toe or something, they would curse, but in Portuguese. I'm Brazilian. for anyone who doesn't remember that detail. So like growing up, no one ever cursed unless something horrible happened, right? Like you stub your toe, then you curse in Portuguese. That's how it worked. But I moved to New York and I became a New Yorker and the vocabulary came, and my parents like started cursing as like part of normal conversation because they picked it up from me. But my parents live in Florida where it is not normal to just out and curse. There was my dad called me one day and he was like, Adriana, my sister asked this question, and I was like, I'm going to answer the way Yvette would. How the F would I know? And apparently, this is just like, they just say, like, I'm going to talk like Yvette does, and then say,
I'm going to curse like a sailor, word. Just like Yvette.
That might be a fun day. Talk like Yvette day.
Yeah, I accidentally taught my parents how to curse in English.
Yeah, nice. That didn't happen in my family.
Yeah, I can't imagine your dad cursing. It's not the vibe.
And my mom only cursed when she was really angry, and that was a sign to get out of the way.
Yeah, leave the house at that point. Yeah.
Nice.
Deborah's asking if Yvette and Andrew will continue beyond the retreat. Probably we won't be very visible, but there is going to be a transition period where we're still around, we're still helping, we're answering questions, we're turning on things and transferring ownership and all that kind of stuff. So,
and we still have to buy fabric too. So we'll still be around.
This will be our new primary store for sure. Yes.
No brick and mortar.
Right. The physical store has been gone since the end of 2023, actually.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions in here?
There wasn't anything else I remember seeing that hasn't already been addressed.
Hi, Karen. Thanks for coming.
Well, yeah, we're just glad so many people joined us and are so as excited as we are.
It's been a great party.
People did say they were going to miss us and that, they wish blah, blah, blah. So here we go. We found a way.
Yeah.
I think we could wrap up and I will get that email sent so that anybody who didn't come live can still have all the information. If you need anything, you can always email us. The email is info@gothamquilts.com. And now it goes to all three of us. So one of us will reply to you. And we'll be in your inboxes later today and then probably next week. Yep. And then we'll be back online. We'll be live at 6:30 to Tuesday next week, just like today. But back to our old schedule starting now.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your very kind words. And a very special thank you to Yvette and Andrea, who have just welcomed us into the fold with such warm and loving arms. It's just been a fabulous experience. And I can't wait for the retreat. It's going to be a party, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, it will. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Indeed.
Thank you so much, Allison.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Oh, somebody just said something about cursing. Haha.
Oh, yeah. Because we don't
surprisingly well.
We try not to curse on camera.
We do try not to curse when we're recording.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you next week. Hooray, Allison! Yay! Bye, everybody.